If you have an older car that uses a vacuum-controlled air conditioning system and the air no longer blows out the proper duct, it blows out on the floor instead of out the air conditioning duct, then you might want to watch this little video. The newer cars use electric motors to control the doors in the plenum chamber of your heater and air conditioner. I had a problem with my air conditioner blowing out on the floor on my 1997 S10. Check the vacuum supply line to the reservoir to make sure the reservoir is getting vacuum. When you pull a vacuum on this vacuum reservoir with a tool like Mighty Vac, or you can just use your mouth, that should hold vacuum. So you need to check your vacuum reservoir first. My S10 vacuum problem was a collapsed vacuum line from age, from oil, and so it closed up. I couldn't get any vacuum to the vacuum reservoir. This S10 has a check valve in the vacuum line coming from the intake manifold to the vacuum reservoir. That is a very common problem. If that fails, you will lose your vacuum, your intake manifold vacuum, when you start up the hill, and the air will change from the air conditioning duct in the dash down to the floor. So that's a very common problem, always has been. To check a check valve, just put a Mighty Vac tool or blow against it with your mouth. You should be able to blow through it one way, but if you tried to suck back on it, you couldn't do it because of the check valve. Some check valves will have T's built into it, another connection built into it, such as this one. You can't see it very well in this photo. That is just for additional vacuum lines. I used to work for Ford, so I'll give you some examples of what Ford used for check valves. The earlier ones were metal, and this provides two lines to supply. This plastic mercury reservoir has a check valve built in it. Some of the T-Birds and Cougars with the Headlight door system had huge vacuum reservoirs such as this. If your vacuum lines and reservoir and check valves and everything checks out okay, then you could possibly have a bad vacuum motor that controls the doors within the heater itself. Some you have to take the plenum chamber, the heater assembly, out and take it apart to get to some of these vacuum motors, so it may be simple or it may be complex. Another possibility could be the control switch itself. If you have the control selector set to air conditioning, for example, and the vacuum motor down on the heater, air conditioning chamber, plenum chamber is not getting vacuum, and the switch itself is getting vacuum supply to it, then you possibly have a bad switch. Plenum chamber is the term that Ford used for their entire heater and air conditioning case that goes in under your dash. I'll say a little bit about vacuum headlight systems like the Cougar used, like Thunderbird used, before I go. The headlight switch itself had a vacuum switch built onto the headlight switch at the very rear. Had 3 vacuum lines going to it, 3/4-inch vacuum lines. Much like your heating system, the doors don't open, don't stay open. Check your check valves, check your reservoir, and check the switch at the back of the headlight switch. You have to buy the whole headlight switch to get the vacuum switch. Well, simple video. I hope this helps you. I've been at this 78 years now. See ya.